Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV and the House Like Kitchen Sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this afternoon's video, if you will. 3:27 p.m. It's Tuesday afternoon. And if you're all familiar with Crip Mac, he's a content creator from the West Coast. He just recently pled guilty to 15 years in federal prison. And a lot of people want to know, for one, why he pled guilty for so much time. And for two, rapper Little Boosie is also facing gun charges, possession of I believe a handgun by a convicted felon. Will he end up with the same amount of time? You know, both cases are very similar for the simple fact that they started off with the state. Now, when you start off with a state case, that's just at your local level. Whatever state you're in, whatever state that you happen to be charged in. Actually, in both instances, it was in California. So the state picks your case up. You may go in for a few court dates or what have you. And you go to court one day and then boom, charges dismissed. And you thinking, oh, wow, they just dismissed my charges or what have you. As soon as you walk out that courtroom, Fed's going to be right there. Turn around, put your hands behind your back, and they read you your Miranda rights. So it's never good to be charged with anything, but particularly when you charged with a federal crime, it's terrible. It's awful. That's not good news whatsoever. Because in the feds, you do 85% of your time. And the thing about that is they go by a sentencing guideline. So whichever guideline that you fall up under, guess what? That's the time that you're going to do. So if your guideline calls for 60 to, 120 months, well, that's 5 to 10 years. So the judge has the flexibility, if you will, to charge you or to sentence you anywhere within that guideline, 60 to 100 months. So you ask, why would Crip Mac plead guilty to so much time? That tells me that this is not Crip Mac's first time being charged, with being in possession of a handgun or a firearm, whichever one it actually was. And the more times you get caught, the higher your point system is going to be. Your points in the feds. Remember I said they have a guideline, so you have points. So I don't know if it's his second or third time being caught, but if he pled guilty to 15 years, he was potentially facing a life sentence or somewhere close to life. Give you enough time to where basically it's life, essentially it's life. So you can't really play with them people in the feds, man. In the state, you can kind of take them back and forth. You can, even if you know you're not going to go to trial, you can act as though you're going to go to trial. In the feds, it's accountability. So basically, the quicker that you accept accountability and responsibility for your actions, that's going to take your points down a couple. You'll go down a couple levels, a level or two. Meaning that you won't be sentenced as high. So, once you realize I can't beat them, typically the feds are undefeated. Every once in a while, somebody will beat the feds, but 9.9 times out of 10, they're not going to be beat. The feds come for you. The case is already pretty much, locked and loaded. So it's just one of those things to where they wanted Crip Mac. The feds don't always come for you. That's the thing about it. They don't always come for people. But they wanted Crip Mac. He got that 15 years. And out of the 15 years, he's going to end up doing probably 12 years. That's just the way that it goes. I mean, you play with them firearms out there, man. Like, these people's not playing, man. They're not playing. Now, in the case of Lil Boosie, will he end up getting 15 years I doubt it, because their records are not similar. This is Lil Boosie's first gun case. Although he's had like a murder charge, he beat that charge. So his other charges that he has is like marijuana, and I think maybe contraband in the jail, something like that. So even though his points are gonna go up because he does have prior convictions, he doesn't have any gun convictions. See, in the feds, guns are considered violent. Even if you don't shoot them, even if you don't hurt anyone, that's still considered a violent offense. You have 3 violent offenses in the feds, guess what? You're a habitual offender. You're a career criminal. So say you had a robbery charge. That's violent, obviously. And then say years later you got a gun charge. Well, they consider that violent. Then you catch a second gun charge. That's 3 violent charges. So now they can hit you with the career criminal. With being a career criminal. And just that alone, man, you get a life sentence or close to a life sentence. So, like I said, Crip Mac, he had to take the 15 years. It was probably the best deal that he was going to get. Lil Boosie, being that this is his first gun case, obviously the feds wanted him because they came in and essentially superseded the state. Now, don't worry about this state. We got this. So it lets me know, anytime the feds step in, they want you. So Lil Boosie will probably end up getting, I don't know, if I had to guess, maybe 2-3 years, no more than 5. And I don't even know if he'll end up getting 5 years, because that's, like I said, he has great lawyers. And Lil Boosie's criminal history is not really, he raps about all this stuff. He's a killer and he's a gangster and he's a street dude and he's this and he's that. And I'm not saying that he's not. Most rappers rap about that. Most of them are not. I'm not saying Lil Boosie's not. Don't get it misconstrued. But what I'm saying is his prior records, his prior convictions was marijuana and I believe contraband for having like some weed or something in the jail. It was something like that. Nothing violent, nothing major. So that's really going to help him when it comes to his guidelines. So yeah, I don't anticipate Lil Boosie. Really, to be honest, I say 2 years. That's just an opinion. This is not factual whatsoever. But I feel like Lil Boosie will get 2, maybe 3 years for having that gun. And it's just a sad situation because these guys, they're not trying to hurt anybody. They're not out here looking to rob anybody. Lil Boosie's already a millionaire. So he's not looking to do anything violent to anybody. He's not looking to, but at the same time, the law says that if you're a convicted felon, even though it was just for marijuana, he's not allowed to protect himself. He's not allowed to protect his family, his kids, his mother, his grandparents, or what have you, because he has a prior conviction, felony conviction for marijuana. Marijuana. That's legal in a lot of states now. But the guys that have already been sentenced and have convictions for marijuana, guess what? They still have felony convictions on their record. Marijuana. That's crazy. And I think that it's sad that you're not allowed to protect yourself. If I haven't went out here and violently done anything to anyone, robbed anyone, why am I not allowed to carry to protect myself? Almost everybody has guns out here these days. Damn near everybody. So you're telling me, well, you're a convicted felon, so guess what? You lose that privilege. That's not a privilege. To bear arms, the rights to bear arms is exactly what it says. It's a right. It's not a privilege. But nevertheless, that's the law. You play the game. Lil Boosie, he's a multi-millionaire. You never should have had a gun on you. Knowing what the law is, people are always watching, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. People are always watching you. And when you got a gun on you, and it's clear, plain as day on you, it's going to be kind of hard to beat that. So I anticipate, at some point, Lil Boosie, his lawyers probably, they're going through all the court. There's a process when you go to court. There's motions to file. There's, we're going to have a suppression hearing, basically saying you all never should have pulled Lil Boosie's truck over. based upon what you've seen in a video, that could have been a prop gun. That could have been, he's an entertainer. So what gives you probable cause to pull him over just based upon what you've seen? So Lil Boosie could possibly beat it. Don't get me wrong. He could possibly beat it. But if he doesn't beat it, I see him getting, like I said, 2 or 3 years. But I feel as though he has an opportunity to beat it, because what's your probable cause for pulling this truck over? You still, even though it's the feds, you still have guidelines to go by. You still have, you can't just pull a person over just because you simply want to pull a person over, which 9 times out of 10, they do it. And most people don't have the money to pay $200,000 or $300,000 to a lawyer that's gonna really, you get a actual team that's gonna, actually go in there and fight. I believe Crip Mac, he probably didn't have the money to get an attorney like that. He probably had an attorney, but not Lil Boosie attorneys. So, Crip Mac may have gotten a little bit less time had he had, a nice defense team like Lil Boosie, but, it is what it is. He took the 15 years. Lil Boosie, like I said, hopefully, he beats it. If he doesn't beat it, he's going to have to go lay down for a couple years. That's just what it is, man. You know what I mean? So, any of y'all that's out there and you got them guns, man, and you know that you're not supposed to have them, understand that. I understand you want to protect yourself. I definitely understand it. But if you end up getting caught up, man, understand it's just what it is, man. It's some BS. Don't get me wrong, it's some total BS. But that's just what it is, man. Can't have guns, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive.